Hi everyone, it's Andy, and we're here with Mike Koelsch today. I hope you're doing great, and I hope you're also doing some good. Mike is going to walk us through what it takes to be a professional illustrator and designer, and we are starting right now.
So, an illustrator is someone who gets basically paid to draw or paint. And illustration is a vast field. You can do comic books, advertising illustration, you can do background paintings for movies, painting digitally, also traditionally, which means, pencils and paper, and paintbrushes and paint, and that's where I kind of fall into. I'm a traditional illustrator. I also do design, so I do some graphics as well, but my main job is illustration. I take words or ideas that an art director gives me, and I put that into a visual. I don't have to wear a tie and go into work. I get to go into a studio. That's my office and my work environment, and it consists of big drafting tables and pencils and paint. I have a computer area as well, and I work back and forth in those. Scanners, printers, the whole deal. I get to pretty much spend a lot of my time going through old books of other artists that are in the past that influence me, that inspires me to create images of my own. So while it sounds like it's all fun and games to be drawing and painting all day, there are some tough situations that as a professional you have to deal with. There's the job in general usually has parameters, and while you're working with a client or an art director, you are also problem solving. So you're just doing it in a visual way. So there's a lot of things, like I said, with time, and you're working with paints, and things could go wrong. There's all sorts of things. Even your computer ends up bombing, or your scanner breaks down, or whatever, and you're having to work with those things. But as a professional, you deal with all these little drawbacks, and you actually are still able to produce something well. A lot of times you're working really late nights. There's been many times in my career where I've done all-nighters, had to pull an all-nighter because you work with due dates, and a lot of times the creative juices are flowing in the evening. So you don't have a lot of set hours, which could be good too, because I get to go surfing or do some fun things on the side, fun lunch breaks, museum trips, things like that. Even just going to the library to pick out a couple books to inspire you is great. Being right-brained as a creative, it's hard, because you want to be creative, but at the same time you have to be a little bit left-brained, and being organized. You have to stay on top of things. You do have deadlines to work with, and there are a lot of stages to do that, and you have to be self-motivated at times too. There's a lot of times, being a creative person, that you don't feel motivated to do a particular painting, or you want to do a painting on your own. That's not something that you're getting paid for, but in order to bring home the bacon, you have to kind of stay on top of things. People that probably would struggle being an illustrator would be someone that is not self-motivated. Also someone who obviously is not very creative. You're also working or juggling a few jobs at the same time, so you're having to work on particular projects in different stages. So once I've taken care of emails and checked all that, I usually head over to my drawing table, and I'll either be working on a sketch or working on a painting, or again, like I said, doing both. You might be sketch stage and you'll have to get out and sketch to a client in the afternoon, and then once that's done, you can get back to doing the painting of a particular other project you were working on. Honestly, I'd have to say, as an illustrator, there is no typical day. I could put in a fun 4-hour day where things are going well and sketches are going great and everything's creative and flowing. And then there's other days where I have a project that has to be done the next evening or the next afternoon, and I am painting away frantically. And the creative juices are flowing. Everything is actually still fun and exciting, but everything's quick paced. And you could be doing a 20-hour day, and it all depends on the project. I would prefer someone to go through the educational stages, whether it's high school and then into a college or a professional school, to hone in your skills and see what job opportunities are out there. You get to be mentored. But I have colleagues and friends that have never done college, but they are creative and they've just continued to draw and draw. There's that saying about 10,000 hours to master a skill, and I am a believer of that. I believe you have a God-given talent. It's up to you to continue that and hone in your skills. Nowadays, as an illustrator, you have to know how to use the computer. You have to know how to draw. You have to understand the business as well. I think nowadays technology has really improved things, but it's also made it harder as an illustrator. So knowing a few different techniques and skills is a must. I would have to say, if you want to make a lot of money, don't be an illustrator. And you can cut this out, Andy, if you want. But no, an illustrator can do very well for themselves, or it can be honestly a struggle. As a freelancer, it varies. It depends what particular style or whatever that you're doing. You could be hot that year and the next year maybe not so much. Illustration is a wide open field, so you could work for a company like DreamWorks or Pixar doing work for $50 an hour and up. And then I know people that are doing their own comic book and graphics that are just killing it right now, upwards of $100,000 to $800,000 a year. So it really varies. I would say that if you are getting into illustration to make a fortune, you might not want to do that. But being creative is a satisfaction, and that's what you're really getting at. I've had some really fun projects, and again, that's what's rewarding for me. I am happy that I've been able to have a career for over 25 years now as a freelancer, and I've had fun projects, wacky ones, where I've got to work on things like Earthworm Jim, small book covers, all the way to big movie posters. And that's what keeps the job exciting, is the variation. I get to pick and choose sometimes what my projects are. I've even done full children's books, and those have been a blast. And they're rewarding too, because I get to get letters from fans and stuff saying how much they appreciated the artwork that went along with the book. The world is a creative's place, and to make your little niche in it is what illustrators do.